It was 6 years ago that Fred and Winona Davies began building their energy-efficient dream home in Diamond Valley, Utah, using the principles of the sun, earth, and wind to provide comfort inside.
Winona sold the house we were in without any plan for going anywhere else, and we started looking for property.
Yeah, I had been really just praying and wishing that Fred could have his dream house. He talked about passive solar homes often and how they would work and how he would do this or he would do that if he had a passive solar home. And so I just started asking God to make that possible.
Starting from scratch on a nearly 1 acre lot in Diamond Valley, the couple proceeded to draw out and build this 2,600 square foot home. And while it may appear like a regular stick-built home, this house is built quite a bit differently. It's insulated with an R50 plus value on all walls and the roof line, and the material inside resembles Legos.
The insulated concrete forms, there's several different designs, but Fox Block is the one that Kurt Thompson is familiar with, and so he was building with that. And yes, it's a foot thick wall, and the Fox Block, I wish I'd kept one, has about 3 inches of insulation on each side and then a almost 6-inch space in the middle to pour concrete down the middle of. It all locks together like a Lego. You snap it together, and so he and his little teeny team of 2 teenagers had the entire thing snapped together and laid out in 1.5 days or something like that.
The walls were then finished with drywall and given a stucco or siding finish. The foot-thick walls give an extra layer of insulation from the inside to out.
The roof is a 40-year metal roof, white to kick the sun back out again. That's one of the principles, to push the heat back out again. And then the exterior siding is concrete hardy board so that the color goes all the way through it. And that way we're not painting and maintaining exterior.
With the majority of the windows facing the south, the design is unique as it works with the sun's rays in both the winter and the summer months.
The overhang is probably one of the critical things to understand. The walls, of course, are an R50 insulation, but if the sun hit that wall, it would still probably heat up the wall a little bit. Whereas the overhang is the right amount to keep the sun from hitting it all the way through the summer while it's hot. And when the sun goes down to 37 degrees during the winter, it shines all the way in through the south-facing windows and hits the floor of the house and heats up the slab and the tile.
Even the floor has insulation under the slab for a constant temperature. The home is so tight and energy efficient it rarely requires the use of any modifying air temperature control methods.
The first year we were here, I think we had the swamp cooler running maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
Because you just cool it off overnight with windows open and the whole house fan pulling the cooler night air in, and then close it up during the day. And because the insulation is sufficient, it doesn't warm back up during the day. Our average bill for the first 5 years was $40. The rates
for
changed.
electric and $40 for gas.
Mm-hmm.
In order to be free of expensive energy bills in both the winter and the summer months, they spent a very small amount of money up front. They found most of the information inside this one book.
It did help to read Mother Earth News for probably
2 or 3
30 years.
A wood stove provides backup heat just in case, and they've also included hot water radiant heat inside the walls upstairs.
This is a German pump, because over in Germany they use a lot of this methodology, and it just pumps the water through PEX tubing, both sides. You can see, and you can turn off a zone completely, and so that it's limited, and it just runs the water through.
And while there are solar panels on the roof outside, they have yet to be activated.
All of the pieces, one component at a time as I found them, and so we're maybe $12,000 into everything, batteries and solar panels and wiring, and I did all the labor myself except for final hookups. So.
Except for the wiring, yeah. Which we did an electrician for that.
With the rising cost of energy, the Davies would like to see more developers and home builders look towards these long-term energy savings.
The reality is that we burn a lot more of those fossil fuels in our homes by heating and cooling than we do in almost any other use in this country. So it's just a really great way to really make a big difference.
The Davies also grow their own herbs and have a vegetable garden and animals in the backyard.
If we can grow our own food without chemicals, let's live by that principle. If we can get well using just a few herbs that can grow in the garden and in the front yard, let's live by that principle. And so I guess you could say we just look for principles that work, and the fastest way to learn something is to implement it. She gets fed with natural principles too. She doesn't get commercial dog food. She gets
Homemade dog
homemade food.
We're awful that way.
And to date, they still have no regrets.
I hope that individuals who want to live in a comfortable home will be willing just to try. Just learn the principles, design it, and build it.
In Diamond Valley, Melissa Anderson, Community Education News.